We're here at the 2024 London Art Fair. The 2024 London Art Fair is tackling the question, how can art transform our understanding of queer history? Rich history doesn't necessarily mean an accurate one. History, as we know, often suffers from an obligation to adhere to the customs and accepted norms of the times. Never is this more true than in queer history, an often repressed portion of history due to the lack of acceptance towards queer individuals in times past. Unraveling the true narrative behind queer love and acceptance is the platform section of the fair, which brings together art that shines a light on queer love and life. Guest curator Gemma Rolls-Bentley brings together art from 10 galleries that reflects the resilience, beauty, and passion of queer love. The platform's exhibition, titled "A Million Candles, Illuminating Queer Love and Life," is inspired by a quote from Virginia Woolf's 1928 novel Orlando, an imaginative biography of her lover Vita, in which the protagonist changes sex from male to female. Tinman Art will also present oil paintings by artist Zach Tofin, who focuses on the reimagination of queer history in order to construct new pathways of understanding.
I'm Gemma Rolls-Bentley and I'm the curator of the platform section at this year's London Art Fair. I've called the section "A Million Candles, Illuminating Queer Love and Life." I came up with the idea based on the Art Fair's museum partnership with Charleston, which is an artist home and studio on the south coast of England. It was home to Vanessa Bell and Duncan Grant, and it's where the Bloomsbury Group spent a lot of time, and it's been celebrated as a queertopia. They moved there in 1913, and the house has been preserved as a historic site and a site of LGBTQIA+ life, and it's really rare to find a site like that where queer history is being celebrated, and artists have often been pioneers in documenting queer life, and so I wanted to start a conversation between those historical artists and the artists who are making work today and who are making work around their own experiences. And this is a painting by Zach Tofin called "Stuck," and it's a new painting. Zach is an artist making work today, and a lot of their work, there's a lot of painting around here as well. We have a solo booth by them, presented by Tinman Art, but a lot of their work is really looking at queer and trans identity, thinking about their own personal journey and about queer visual coding, about dressing, about the objects that have real significance to them as a queer and trans person. We were really lucky to be able to include some David Hockney work in this section of the fair, and these are his illustrations for poems by C.P. Cavafy, and they were made in the 60s. And they are pretty explicitly queer, and that I am sure felt extremely radical at the time. And he's spoken about these works openly, and he's said, yes, of course this work is gay, this was just me defending my way of life. And he came up with these when he found a Cavafy book in the library when he was an art student. So this was also quite formative to him as an artist, this series of work. And actually it's been really interesting having this work alongside some of the younger contemporary work, because one of the artists, James Dearlove, who's a painter, said this work by Hockney was the first representation of his own queer desires that he ever saw when he was a child. He used to look at these books. His parents had a Hockney book, and he used to sneak in and look at these etchings himself. And so I think it's really meaningful for a lot of the younger artists to be having their work shown alongside this more historical work. And this is a presentation by London-based Guts Gallery, a young gallery, who I was really excited to include. And they've got a very simple but extremely bold booth of painting by Shadi Alatala, Sophie Valence-Cantor and Olivia Sterling. And this is a booth, a solo booth by James Dearlove, which the work really speaks for itself. It's stunning, and James actually has been selected for Bloomberg New Contemporaries this year, which opens in London on Thursday, so it's really exciting to be able to have a whole booth of his work here as well. This is a really stunning booth presented by Soho Review, another London-based gallery, and this is a series of etchings by Nuka Shepherd that are being released here at the fair.